Hey folks, it's Faye here from FayeJohnson.com, and a question has come up with one of my shamanic coaching groups about plant spirits, plant divas, and elementals. And so I thought this would be a great topic for discussion because I'm sure many of you out there have your own personal experiences of these and would have your own opinions on the subject. So feel free to comment below and let me know your thoughts and opinions as well. So just to go back to the original question, the question was, is there a distinction, or do I find a distinction between plant divas, elementals, plant spirits, etc., etc.? And what does all of those mean? So all I can do at the moment is give you my personal experience. Okay, so obviously I'm not a definitive authority on this subject. I just have my personal experience over the years, opening myself up to these other worlds. Okay, so firstly for me, and this is I suppose the way I like to work, is when let's say I'm going for an intuitive walk in nature. I've landed in a place and I think, oh, you know what, it's a gorgeous day, I just want to get in touch and I want to just go outside. So what I will be doing there is I will be tuning into my heart space, because when I'm in this area I know how I can I'm in this space to receive when I'm in my heart space, whereas if I'm in my head, or if I'm listening to a podcast or something on some music and stuff, I'm still in that headspace of sort of techie human world. And what I want to be I want to go into this world that's feeling its way, which is in my heart. Okay, so that's firstly, before we even think about labeling our experiences, we need to get into this place that feels and this place that receives, and I want to be in my body. And so I sometimes will walk along kind of humming and just being and seeing how my body is feeling, how I am feeling, because that's where I know I've kind of turned on my receivers. So also in my heart, what I'm saying actually usually out in the landscape is I'm actually thinking, wow, this is fucking beautiful. It's amazing. I love it. And so I'm sending out that vibration. And in that vibration, I've also got an intention. And I've got an intention, and it's this willingness and this curiosity that wants to connect. So it's this intention which allows you to be very clear and very specific about what you are connecting with. So often I think we forget this. We get very curious about connecting with other beings and spirits and going through beautiful portals into other worlds, and we forget sometimes that we actually can lay down those boundaries and be really clear on that spiritual thermostat about what we are open for and what we are not open for. Okay, I often hear of people who are on their spiritual path and they're like, oh gosh, yeah, I get waken up in the night by X, Y, and Z. And we can, and that happens to me. I will get waken up in the night as well by plant beings sometimes, spirits of people who've passed on, etc., etc. But we can be very clear that we are not open for that. I'm not available for that, for example. And just on that note of availability, when I'm setting up sacred space, when I'm holding a space for a group or for a client, for a healing, I am very, very clear what I'm available for and what I'm not available for when I'm setting up that sacred space, okay? And if it's for a client, I am setting up a space that is open to receiving healing for their highest good. I'm open to compassionate beings of light, for example. I'm not open for any other spirit to come in and gate crash the space that might need my help. No, so I put up my boundaries like that. So just getting back to my intuitive walk in nature. And so in that intention, in that beauty, in that sort of space that I'm in, and I'm out in nature because I'm kind of, my intention is I want to connect with the magic of this place and I want to honor it. And so what I'm doing first and foremost, never mind plant spirits and fairies and elves and whatever else is going on, I like to connect with that spirit of the land, the spirit of the place. And this might be in some instances, for example, I'll give you an example of my garden, which is behind this amazing wall behind me. So here, for connecting with the spirit of my garden, and I view this as an overriding like a spirit, an energy. So what I mean by spirit is I mean it's a vibration. I am a very feeling person. So I won't have an image that will be a person type goddess, shall we say, that's in front of me that says, hello, I am the spirit of your garden. For me, it's a vibration, it's an energy, it's a resonance. The more time I spend in this garden, tuning myself to, okay, we go to different places and with our intention to tune into the spirit of that place, we become more sensitive to how those places feel in our bodies. And so this is what happens when we start connecting with plant spirits, and we'll get a sense of, oh my goodness, this really feels like oak. Where is oak? I've got the sense of oak around me, and that's where when we've tuned in to that resonance on the radar, that's when we are able to kind of find certain plants, because they have found us and we are tuned to their resonance. So first and foremost, when I'm in a place, I am tuning into that spirit of place. And often, if I'm somewhere new, I will have an offering with me. And this goes for even if I'm working in a place, holding a workshop, doing a healing with a client, I will invite that spirit of the place into the space that we're working in, because I'm there, I'm physically here, and the spirit of the place is here too. And so I'm inviting that and I'm offering. And so offerings, I mean, I talk about this in my book, what offerings, and really offer what feels right for you. I often have seeds and flowers, petals and things like that in my pockets. Some people like to stick to using like tobacco or corn seeds and things. And I must say, sometimes with my garden, I'm in my garden every day, and I'm feeling like, seriously, I have to give an offering like every single time I'm in here, just to show. So I don't always take something out of my pockets and leave it. I will light candles, I will say prayers, I will sing. And I suppose, in a sense, because my work is devoted to bringing the spirit of nature forwards and giving it a voice and helping others find its voice through them, I feel in a sense that a certain part of my work, it really is in service for the green world. So in a sense, I feel that when I'm out here doing this is an offering, this is bringing that forward. But the important thing is to find an offering that feels right for you. So number one, when I'm in a space, before I'm even thinking about elementals or plant spirits, I'm first and foremost aware of the space, aware of the place where I am and how that feels. And I know I've talked about that before when I did the Spirit of the Land webinar, and there's a mini course I've got which helps you to tune in to the Spirit of the Land. So that's sort of first and foremost. And then the second thing is, when we want to work with a plant, again, the question I had was, how can I be sure that I'm connecting with the spirit of the plant and not another type of elemental? And is there a difference between the two? So for me, yes, there is a distinction between the spirit of the plant, the essence, its consciousness. And so what I mean by the spirit of the plant is I mean its vibration. I mean I mean that unique frequency that conscious being is operating on, because that is the frequency, that is the presence that I physically feel in my body. And it really, really plays with my emotions. And I was talking about this last night with my group. I usually know if a plant has something to say to me, it touches me and I will start crying, and I'm like, oh, okay, back up. Something is going on here. There's something that's worth investigating. So so if you're walking in nature and you feel a bit of a difference in your body, or you feel, your ears pop, or you suddenly have this weird memory that you haven't had for a long time, and you think that's interesting, then that is the cue. Back up. Something's going on. There's something in the place where you are that is trying to communicate with you, or rather, that it's always communicating to us. It's just that perhaps in your nice walk, you've got yourself into that beautiful heart space where you are open to receive, because often we are not in that space, and so our receiving channels are closed. So if I'm with a plant, I will sense, and if it's a plant I know, There's something about sort of the more you work with, so it's like friendships. The more you get to know certain friends, you kind of know they've walked in the room or the cafe that you might be meeting them in before they've even said hello, because you've got that sense, that familiarity with that person even before they've spoken. And that is, for me, how I experience plants. So whether you want to label that the plant consciousness, the spirit of the plant, that's up to you. But for me, it's the consciousness, it's the vibration of that. That is how that plant connects with me. So just talking a little bit about elementals, I'll try and keep this short. So for me, what I understand by the term, I mean, as humans, we just love to label everything, don't we? We have to have everything in a box, and everything has to have a label, and we have to know how it behaves, and then we can categorize it. So I'm a bit more sort of fluid and spirally when it comes to labeling things, because I think if we label things and we kind of put them in a box about how they behave, then we actually are diminishing their power, and we're letting our ego take over and think, oh yeah, I know what this is. I know what this is. I've read about this. And so first and foremost, it's experience. Okay, so when you're out connecting and you're tuning in with a plant, let's say, or you're sitting down and you think, this plant's caught my attention, or something in this landscape has caught my attention, I'm going to sit here and breathe and just open my channels and breathe into my heart and just enjoy the beautiful experience of being here in this beauty. That's the point when we're opening ourselves up to finding the peace and receiving. And what will happen is, if you're finding your attention is pulled, or the way you receive, for me, for example, I'll usually get an emotion, or my ears might pop, or I really will sense a tangible shift in frequency. This is the point where I'm like, uh-oh, something's going on here. So I kind of want to pause and I want to back up. And the tendency that we have as human beings is to go, whoa, what's this? Da, da, da. And the brain starts kind of connecting again. So the first thing to do is never mind the labels, never mind the questions, just simply pause and be curious and tune in and just kind of breathe with whatever is happening, okay? And just allowing that experience of, wow, I'm having a really interesting experience here. This is amazing. Thank you. Hello. Okay. So sometimes, for example, that's if it's a gorgeous experience, if it's a pleasant experience. If it's a not very pleasant experience, you might want to pause and just check in with yourself and think, hang on, do I feel safe? Does this feel friendly? Does this light me up? Because if the answer is no, ping, 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 alarm bells are going, you might want to just take a step back and say, no, thank you. I'm not available for this. And go back another day, or just move away from that. Sometimes we don't always want to open up to experiences. And sometimes presences, vibrations, vibratory consciousness that's in nature doesn't actually want to connect with us, okay? Because as human beings, we don't have the best reputation for looking after this earth. And that's what the elemental forces are here to do. So by elementals, I understand that to mean gnomes, caretakers of the earth, the fairy folk, mer people, so mermaids and mermen, pixies, sprites, so water sprites, water nymphs. I can't think of any more now. Salamanders, all the elementals. Oh, hello, Teresa. Thank you for the reminder of just being. Yes, very important, just to be rather than to label. So that's what I mean. So I call them elementals, or nature beings, nature spirits. And so you can take a walk in nature and simply really with that invitation in your heart to open up to them and say, hello, I'm available. What's going on here? And again, they love offerings. They love leaving the offering in nature, which is really you and your intention saying, hello, I'm here with my willingness. I'd like to connect with you, and I come in peace. And so for me, the real experience I had, or the only experience, if you like, that I can label is my connection with the fairy folk, because as my name suggests, fae, these are the elementals I feel most aligned with and have therefore the most experience of ever since I'm a little girl. And for me, again, these different elementals or nature beings have a different frequency, so for me, for example, I can recognize the fairy frequency because I feel very light, I feel very silly, I feel very giggly, I feel a little bit naughty. And sometimes when I'm with the power of the nature spirits, it simply will just take away my ability to speak. So there's all these different effects that different nature beings will have on me. And again, it's a case of just tuning in and getting accustomed to it. And so at first, not really trying to label it and find out what it is, but just experiencing it. Because if it's feeling good, if it feels like it's something you're curious about and you want to explore, and it feels like it's happy for you to explore it and be there with it, then stick with it, receive. And don't forget, you can always ask questions. So if you're with a plant and you think, well, this kind of is like lavender, but it doesn't really feel the same as the lavender I've met previously, then you can ask some questions and you can tune in and say, are you the spirit? Am I tuning into lavender here? Or is there somebody else here? Is there something else here? So again, asking questions to clarify, am I connecting with the spirit of the garden? Is this something else? And just tuning in and asking questions. And so again, how do we receive answers when we ask questions? Sometimes, so for me, what I will do when I ask a question is I like it to move through my body in terms of the energetic response that I will receive from my question. So I might move, I might sing, I might sort of bring in some movement if I've got a rattle or a bell with me. I might make funny sounds. It's almost like I have to integrate the experience within my body. And then what I might do is sit myself down with my journal and just write automatically, allow that kind of automatic writing to flow through. Sometimes it might flow through from fairy, for example. It is often in the most ridiculous prose, really silly rhyming words. And it's just brilliant and funny and great fun to sort of experience and read over afterwards. Very, very childish. So that's how I like to receive. And then I might, for example, if I want some more information, I might want to do a classic shamanic journey where I go away and I'll connect to that space in spirit by using my drum. So the different ways that I will connect. But anyway, I think I've covered the question. The question was, is there a difference between plant spirits and nature beings and elementals and so forth? And so yes, there is. But and for me, that's a difference in frequency. It's a difference in how I experience them. And with the nature beings, they will all have different roles, like a different sort of hierarchy. But really, the purpose of them all as different frequencies is to look after the earth, be caretakers of the earth. So if you are being a caretaker of the earth, if you are recycling, if you are respecting nature, if you are being kind to the plants, if you are going out in nature, kind of flirting with the plants and go, hello, my beauties, this is amazing, I love it here, this looks stunning today, thank you so much. You're giving your gratitude and you're cleaning up the trash and the litter that other people leave behind, and you're respecting nature, then this is the best thing that we can do, which says in our intention, I love you, I want to connect, show me how I can help you. And this is the best sort of green flag in terms of invitation to connecting, in my experience, to the nature beings. Now, I am sure I have missed out 100 of things there, but I just wanted to answer that question and give you all a quick overview. So anyone with any comments of your own personal experiences, then I would love to hear those, and I'm sure other people would too. So don't hesitate to sort of make a comment in the comments below. Or get in touch and message me if you have a lovely story to share that you think others will want to hear. So take care, everybody. That's it for now. Bye.